Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today on this rather breezy day, but bright and sunny day, which is the reason I've got these sunglasses on. I'm not trying to look cool or anything like that. But you join me as I return to a former location from a previous Hot Pot. I don't normally do this. Once I've done a subject, I don't normally return to it. But I'm breaking that rule today, and I'm having an exception to that rule, because I'm here today at the former RAF base Stenigot, which is in Lincolnshire, not too far away from Donington on Bain. And what's rather unusual about this former RAF base is it used to be a communications centre during the Cold War, and when they decommissioned it in the early 90s, with the end of the Cold War, they took down 4 huge satellite type dishes which had been part of a system known as Aces High, which was a scatter system apparently, and that would have told us that the Russians were oncoming. Now these 4 huge satellite dishes have remained in the corner of a farmer's field for 40 years. Apparently the person who bought them when they decommissioned this site was going to remove them for the scrap value, but they never got round to it. So they were left in the corner of a farmer's field, and they've been a bit of a curiosity and an unusual sight for 40 odd years. But last year, shortly after I was here, which was in August of 2018, they started to demolish these dishes, and now there's only one remaining, which I'll just whip the camera around and hopefully you'll be able to see it in the distance. Now there's only that one left today, so I've returned to this site just to come and have a look and see how it looks with just one dish really. Now as I said, I've made a film previously on this, and I've done all the history to this site on that particular video, so I'll put a link up now for you so you can go back to that one and have a look at it if you wish. But we're just going to take a look today at what this looks like with just one here. Now what has happened is they got a company in, the farmer, to demolish these 3 dishes in October 2018, and he removed 3 of them, and East Lindsey District Council stopped him from removing the 4th. The reason being that they said they are of architectural interest and that he should have sought permission before he started demolishing them. Now it's a tough one really, because as I say, really the dishes had already been bought for scrap value, so technically you could say 40 years later that the property of this farmer, and I can understand why he wants rid of them. Number one, they're on his land, but number 2, they're attracting people such as myself with cameras and things like that, coming having a look at them, so I understand why he wanted rid of them really. But it's a good question really, because they've been here so long, are they of architectural interest, or should they have just been allowed to be removed? That's a question I'll leave open to you guys. You can leave your comments below as always, but for now I'm going to approach this farmer's gate and take a look at this last remaining dish. Now I made a bit of a mistake in my last video. I said as it was radar dishes, and they're not. Apparently the Tropospheric dishes, I think I've pronounced that right. If not, apologies once again. But yeah, we'll just take a look at these dishes now and see what this whole scene looks like with just one. I remember being here with Mrs H prior to making the video, and there was really a beautiful sight. I think I put some pictures in from that visit in my last video, so be sure to go back after watching this one and check that one out. Anyway, we're now approaching this farmer's gate, so I'll whip the camera around and we'll take a closer look at this last remaining dish, shall we? And there we have it, folks, that's the last remaining dish. Now the other 3 used to just be at the side of it there, to the right hand side. So this scene looks very different to me than it did when I was last here, back in August of 2018, and it's strange to think that just a couple of months later demolition work began on the other 3 dishes. Now the gate that I'm currently leaning on used to have a sign on it stating that there was a bull roaming loose in that field and enter at your own risk basically. Well, I wouldn't risk it, you know, a couple of years ago, But there's no sign on this gate now, and it doesn't appear that there's a bull in the field either, so I'm going to risk it. I'm going to hop over the gate, and that way we'll be able to get right up close to this last remaining dish. So join me in a moment once I've climbed over this gate. So with that fence safely negotiated, I've managed to vault over that farmer's gate. Pretty easy really. I'm now approaching this dish, and they never fail to impress me, the size of these things, whenever I visit. It's sad to see that there's only one left, but it's still an impressive sight. And I've been here now about 3 times, and like I say, it never fails to impress me every time I come here. And there you go, this is the closest I can get to it, to get it all in frame. As I said, these things are just huge. I wonder how much he got for the scrap value of the other 3 that he dismantled. And it does make you wonder just how long this dish will be here for. I should imagine that if you could have got rid of this particular one as well, you would have done, and then there'd be no reason for people to come here. Yes, this was part of the NATO defence system during the Cold War. It didn't last very long apparently, the Ace's Eye system, before it was superseded by advancements in technology. So it makes you wonder just how much these dishes cost to manufacture, only for them to be removed pretty quickly. As you can see, lots of people come to these dishes. They're a bit of a mecca in the urban exploration world. I'm just walking on it here. A little bit slippy. I'll only be able to get up so far, and then I'll have to head down. And there's the centre of this dish. No idea what this arm would have done during the day. Would have probably held some equipment or some description. I'll make my way around the back of it. If I remember rightly, some of the supports on this used to have the words NATO stamped on them. And I think there was a gantry that you could stand inside. And this is the back of this huge dish. As I say, somewhere along there, beneath all that graffiti, are the words NATO. Or the initials NATO, should I say. NATO is not a word, is it? And what is pretty impressive is the other 3 used to sit in and around this area here. And it just shows you how quickly nature takes this back, because they did use huge machines to break these up, which I'll put some photographs at the end of this video. There's the ladders that they would have used to climb the outside of the dish. And I think over there in the field in the corner is the remains of some of the 3 dishes, which we'll walk over to now and take a look at. Yeah, these are some of the supporting tubes from the other dishes. Why these have just been left here at the side and not removed with the rest of the scrap from the other dishes, who knows? I should imagine on there will be the initials NATO stamped on them. Yeah, nice to be back here, but a shame to see that there's only one dish left. Right then, I'm going to climb back out of this farmer's field now and wrap this video up. Okay folks, well that'll just about do it for today. Hope you've enjoyed returning to this location with me and taking a look at the last remaining dish here on this site. As I say, it is a shame to see that the other 3 have been removed, but I do understand why the farmer wants rid of them, as they are attracting people, and it is his land when all's said and done, and what use are they to him? You know, he could probably put crops in that area of field or something like that. But leave your comments below. Do you think the farmer was right in removing the other 3 dishes from this particular site, or do you think that they should remain here, seeing as they was once part of the communications of the defence of this great nation of ours? Right then, I'm going to leave it there. So until the next time, from myself, Mr H, as always, it is bye-bye for now.